So where do you guys want to start? Let's start
From the beginning.
From the top.
Yeah.
When you go out on your own, I know what you will find. That
Hi,
you
I'm Heath, and this is Alyssa Paget as of 2 days ago, and we're about to spend 7 months traveling in our new motorhome across the country in order to film Hourly America.
rather say, and
I worked in a tech startup. She worked in nonprofit sector. But I was working in a tech startup after college and doing sales, and decided that it wasn't really something I wanted to do long term. I wanted to do more creative work. I wanted to find a way to really make an impact, and I came up with this crazy idea where we could travel across the country and I would shadow people and take a break from my career.
So I'll be following Heath around with a camera as he works 50 different hourly jobs in each of our 50 states here.
I'll be doing them, one in every state. I'll work a day shift and apprentice an hourly employee with the hope of finding some really awesome people and discovering cool stories that hourly employees are living all across the country and being able to tell those through some really cool video. So I'm excited. Yeah, we're not sure what my first job is gonna be yet. Our team at Snag-a-Job is gonna be lining up those jobs for me, and so I'll have no idea from city to city what I'll be doing, so I'm just gonna show up and get to work.
I'm feeling so overrated. My life is so complicated. I'm not the best, but I face it. These feelings are fresh, but I'm jaded. Oh, and I feel like I'm going nowhere. And I feel like I wanna be someone, but I don't wanna write this song.
So I called you with this brilliant idea to go and work a job in all 50 states. What do you think about that?
It was the worst idea. It was our honeymoon.
People can work on their honeymoon.
People who get divorced, maybe? Like, we gotta start this marriage off right. And, I mean, eventually we did. Like, I love you, but...
Appreciate it.
I'm gonna video you, just in case this is the one. We have video of you driving it for the first time. I think those were just the blinds knocking.
So 4 days after the wedding, we took off in our very old RV that we bought off of Craigslist, and we hit the road for New Mexico for your first job.
Yeah. Just leaving Walmart. It's Monday morning in Albuquerque, and I'm headed to my first job site this morning, where I'll be working at the Project Dojo Martial Arts School, and I'm pretty excited about it. Where do I go?
Turn left.
A little nervous.
We've been expecting you. I hope
Made a few wrong turns, but finally made it.
it happens to most. I'm glad you guys made it. This is Mr. Lawrence Saavedra
Nice to meet you.
and Michelle.
Michelle, nice to meet you. So this is it?
This is it, man.
We're excited. Yeah, thank you for having me. We're really excited.
Remember what I said, forget about tomorrow.
So today I'm basically I'm a pling belt, which I think that is about the same as a toddler. So this evening I'm going to be actually helping instruct one of the classes with the kids. And so I have a full attire karate, and I've been learning about this all day, so I'm pretty much professional. And I'm gonna be teaching karate class, so watch it.
Step over, turn, and hit.
Whoa.
Go down to a foot. Look up to the sky. Deep breath. Go to the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, left, right. Snap. Like a whip. There you go.
Did it.
Have a great night. Be safe. Go with joy.
Earned this tape.
It was fun. You know, we got our first day out of the way, and I think anytime anybody starts a new job, like we're going into this trip, we don't know what's gonna happen. We don't know exactly what hourly America is supposed to be. We don't, you know, like all these things are just like completely unknown. So we're just basically jumping into it.
What I just said, all of these tones ringing in your head.
We're on our way to job number 2 in Prescott Valley, Arizona, where I'll be working at Buffalo Wild Wings, the lunch shift. How to make wings today. So.
You were in there for about 5 minutes, and I didn't know where you were, and you were already back there, like on your 10th order of wings.
They showed me how, and they said, "Okay, do it." I said, "Okay."
Your friends calling, just ignoring all the little words I try. It feels very.
A lot of them really enjoyed what it is that they do. They choose to be in those jobs. Some of them had previously been in office jobs, and they're like, I hate it, and I can't wait to go back to being a waitress because that's what they love to do.
And you did have to learn how to properly hold a cup today.
Yeah, apparently you're not supposed to hold it like this, so do what I can. This is the coolest thing I've ever seen, and you just missed it.
I didn't miss it.
The camera missed it.
Maybe like with the angle they got.
Probably not.
So we're in Williams, Arizona, last stop before the Grand Canyon, and we exited to see about seeing an RV park for the night, and our RV totally crapped out on us and died in the middle of a parking lot. It just so happened that that parking lot happened to have a mechanic shop. So it turns out all we need is a new fuel pump, but we're stuck here for the night. And we're about a week and a half into our journey, and our fuel pump goes out. It's gonna cost us $600. We're already not really making much money at all at this point. We're going on faith that we're gonna pick up some more sponsors and on our trip. So it's a little setback that we knew was probably gonna happen, and we got fortunate that it happened in a mechanic's parking lot, but still nonetheless, it's kind of discouraging. We were gonna be looking at the Grand Canyon today, but now we're in a mechanic shop. It's Alyssa's first trip to the Grand Canyon. What do you think?
Pretty massive, pretty grand.
The third gig was in Habitat for Humanity Restore, which I didn't even know what that was. I just heard of Habitat for Humanity before. We got there and I like mixed paint, but we got to sit down and talk to AJ, who I felt like was somebody that if we hadn't met, like we would have had a totally different trajectory for our whole trip.
We by far had the best interview today with one of the employees here who's a semi-pro football player, and he just blew us away.
Oh man, and I think this is the happiest I've been in a while. I think even I might not be making as much money as I used to, I just feel like it's not important as the things that I'm doing otherwise, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like I just feel like if I'm gonna make good money in my life, it's just gonna happen. I know I'm a good person, you know, I'm not worried about leaving job for a better job. I just wanna be comfortable.
Yeah.
Just be in my own secure mind that I am who I am and I'm proud of it. I wouldn't give it up.
And so after meeting him, I think we kind of knew the people was what we were after for the film. And
Yeah.
so we head west, finally made it to the coast, drove up the Pacific coast, and just enjoyed the views for a little while.
Hello. Keep Portland weird, bro. That's where we're going. We're on the Pacific coast. It's cold. I should probably get in.
By the way, I got to work for the Los Angeles Angels minor league team in LA, getting to pick up like basically sunflower seeds and peanut shells, but it was still cool because we got to hang out in the locker room, and they had like sweet Los Angeles Angels like logos and stuff everywhere. Anyway.
So through the night, when I turned 17, or so long ago it seems, 27, I'll make my
And we drove up the coast, and we went to Portland, Oregon. That's where you worked your 7th job, at the Portland Art Museum with
Yeah.
Bryce,
I
who
wor-
was the
I
head
wor-
of maintenance.
Basically known as the guy who fixes stuff.
So we just got to the art museum, and it's like 8:40, and we're gonna be spending the day as a security guard here, and we're gonna get started. So.
Okay,
So all of this is your office?
this is, I don't know if you call it an office, but it is, yeah.
Thank you.
My hole in the wall. Because of what I do, it's really nice to have a lot of space. And this is where, actually, most of my work I sit and do here. I really like to teach, and I teach everybody everything all the time. It's really good, and I will do my best so they will come away, and in a year they'll remember what I taught them. That's just a good thing.
Like a big, like what was the biggest struggle you've ever went through in your life, and how did you get through it, and what came from it? Like what did you learn from that experience?
Actually, probably the biggest struggle in my life that got me off was when it was my second shot at the 2nd grade, and the school district came to my parents and told them I was hopelessly retarded and they should take me out of school. And they recommended feeding livestock. But the results of being, and just kind of being told by the other kids that I was a dumbbell, I remember that term real clearly. And it's affected something, it's probably changed how the kind of things I've done. But I was pretending I was smart, and I would trick people. I just felt like my whole life was tricking people into thinking I was smart. But it turned out I was one of the original dyslexia research kids. It just means that something between perception and cognitive processing, something's rerouting information.
The fact that he got kicked out of school and told that he was mentally retarded just like blew my mind. Like if that happened in 2016, like it would be on national news. Like kid gets kicked out of school and says he's mentally retarded. Like that would be everywhere.
I had thought I'd gotten around it. I can read things in context. But I would have this, for my class we would do reading tests. They'd read about 3 paragraphs and then answer 10 questions. And I had the answer key, and they were lowercase letters inside of boxes, so there was no context. And I would be reading the answer, and I would say, answer number 3 is B, and they'd all, no, and I realized I cannot tell a lowercase b from a D. It's hard to explain. It doesn't make sense, but that's the way it is. So that was a thing to overcome. Okay, I'm trying to think of how. Yeah, we can stand it up and then swing it around. Let's just
And so we finished that job with Bryce in Portland, and we headed east.
Smell that smell?
Yes.
Manure. Worked on a dairy farm, worked at a pizza shop.
And lots of different jobs in between.
The wood in my sleeve, summer fading fast in the northern USA. Sea to sea towns looking back at me, Santa Barbara to the Boston Bay. Trying to change the world, I found that the world was changing me. All new faces in a town of spaces, now it's time to
Just broke a glass, so we're cleaning up glass. I'm tired. Been working for a few hours and it's exhausting. It's Friday night. It's going down.
And then we made it to Oklahoma, where I got a job at Schlegel's Bicycles.
It doesn't always do that. Sometimes, when you're manhandling the tires, sometimes it'll get caught underneath there, but as long as that's good.
What made you get started in bikes? Why did you start doing this?
For 15 years in the UK, which is where I'm originally from, I worked in office work. I wasn't using my brain on a regular basis. I would clock in, but mentally clock out for 8 hours a day. So why would I want to be stuck in a job that, although it paid very high, a very career-based salary job like I had in the UK, that honestly was mind-numbing and wasn't that interesting to do? Why not do something for 8-9 hours a day that I enjoy doing?
It seems like there's a common misconception with a lot of people on the outside of hourly jobs. They look at people who are in a certain role, such as yours or something, and they're like, oh, Marty can't get nothing but a job in a bicycle shop.
Right.
Or somebody's working as a cook or something in a restaurant because
Right.
that's all they can get. But what we found to be true after going and doing jobs in every state and meeting all these people is that more often than not, these people have tried out jobs in office setting or something like that, and then they realize, like, this sucks. Like, I want to do something else. Like, I don't care if I take a cut and pay because, like, I'm going to be so much happier. Like, can you talk about that a little bit? Like,
That's pretty much it in a nutshell. I mean, I turned 42 this year, and I rapidly came to the conclusion that I was doing the right thing. Yes, it doesn't pay as well as maybe a very high-paid career where you have to go through a lot of tuition and a lot of background to get there. But I spend a good 8 to 9 hours a day here at the store. I spend more time working with these guys than I spend with my own wife. At least awake, There shifts on here as well. You just put a little tab. So that one will be, that little tab will be, you can see where the 5-volt. I'm in probably one of the best jobs that I've ever had. Sure, with it being an hourly paying job, it doesn't pay the best kind of wage rates I've ever had. I think it's one of those deals whereby the jobs will always be there. People will always want to do them, and what better person to have in a job than somebody that enjoys their job.
You realize, like, you spend so much of your time working, and that's just life wasted if you're not doing something that means something to you or makes a difference. Like, he loves bikes and he loves his job because he's chosen something that he cares about, and the money doesn't even play a factor really for him.
Yeah, and there's like this draw though to like graduating from college. I know that like there's a pressure as a husband when we get married to
From my mom?
mostly to basically just like feel like I need to go out and have a 401k, even though I'm only 25 now, and like to be able to bring in X amount of money and have that security. Like there is that pressure there, even though I know like I want to be doing something that I enjoy doing. But I think when you get to sit down and talk to somebody like Marty, you get to realize that there's people out there who have made that intentional decision to not do the normal thing. And I think just knowing that they exist is encouraging. Yeah, so we got done with our job number 19 in Oklahoma, and we started heading northeast, and we were going up to, I don't remember where exactly we were outside of St. Louis.
Yeah.
And we parked our RV on a hill. And when you're living in an RV and you're not hooked up to electricity, you basically, your fridge switches over to running off propane. And you're not supposed to park on a hill with an RV propane fridge. So basically it blows up. And we have to live without a fridge for almost a month.
I don't know. Because I don't know anything about refrigerators, but I know that they're supposed to cool things, and that when they don't cool things, that's usually when you have to buy a new one.
We've literally converted our freezer box to an ice box. So we've got 2 bags of ice, milk, bacon, eggs, half and half, and some fresh vegetables and chocolate. So that's what we are living off of right now. Yeah. And coming to you live from the place where my refrigerator used to be. We are, yep, so this is where the fridge was, and we took it out. So it's late at night, and we're in a campground. A really nice guy here that works in the campground helped me take it out of here because Alyssa and I were struggling. So now we're going to try to figure out what we're going to do with this giant hole. And because if our fridge doesn't work tomorrow when we put it back in, we might just take it out and get like an apartment size fridge.
Can you hear that?
If you can hear that, it's this terrible screeching noise that it sounds like it's coming from our brake. So now not only is our fridge out and our jacks aren't working, but there's a terrible sound coming out of the front of the RV. So
Oh my gosh, our jacks went out, our generator went out, we got struck by lightning, our brake pads shattered, got them replaced, then we had to get our whole rotors replaced. So, out of all the places we've parked Franklin, this is by far the most possible disastrous situation. What else happened? I feel like every possible thing that could go wrong.
The main thing was the fridge. Like the fact that we were like shoving all of our food into the freezer. So that was fun. But
that was not fun. That was the worst. We went a month without a fridge.
I know, it really wasn't fun. But yeah, and so that was basically while we were making the trip from Oklahoma up to like Vermont, like that whole entire time.
That's why we chose to work on a farm, because we thought farm
equals food,
free food,
totally
equals not having to put stuff in our lack of a fridge.
Yeah, that really was part of the mentality. Yeah, found it. We actually just secured our 25th job, and I just got hired for my 25th job up in Vermont at a apple orchard, and the farmer's really nice guy. He's actually going to let us stay here for the night. We can save some money, which is awesome because we stayed with a ton of people this month. So that's not the right end. So yeah, as you can see, we're camping on the land here today in the middle of an apple orchard. It's kind of awesome. I'm Heath.
Heath, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, man.
Well, these are Fujis, and we are picking 15 trees in on the top of all 3 rows because these are super sweet. They're very ripe.
Well, first give me a little brief description of what it is you do here for.
This is my 3rd season at Shelburne Orchards. I pick apples for stores, markets, farmers markets, for the orchard here, as well as for cider that we make here.
What was like, you talked a little bit about that you weren't necessarily super motivated to want to finish college. Can you talk about that experience that you had just like finishing and your thoughts on that?
Yeah, for me, college, just coming out of high school, I didn't think about any other options. It made sense. I thought it's what everyone did. My parents not only encouraged it, they made it seem like it's what I would do. And it didn't seem like a forced thing back then, but after my first 2 years, the second summer after college, I worked at the student organic farm, and it blew me away, and I fell in love. So from then on, I was set on wanting to farm. There's an example of something we don't want, but it seems so small.
Yeah.
But it's there's either a bug in there or there wasn't, like it's soft.
Oh, gotcha. Are there a lot of jobs out there that do pay higher from your degree that you could be doing? And what's like the trade-off, you know?
Mm-hmm. I'm sure there are. I'm sure there's ones that also don't pay great, but more important than how much you make in your paycheck is what did you learn, what have you realized, how have you grown as a person in this world, because that's more real than do you have $300 to your name or you make $75,000 a year. Because in the end, I know the money part will come together, or if I make certain choices, which might be changes, might not, I could easily start making more money someday, but I'm more concerned with being happy and healthy and having the mindset to live a good life.
What I remember from Blake was that he said there's more to life than how much money is in your bank account, which was really timely because at the time we were really poor when we were going through there, and just like
broke, totally broke, couldn't afford to buy a new fridge, broke. And he was just like almost preaching to us, like, do what you love, like do something that you really enjoy. Like, I
like
love
such a hippie when you said that.
I love picking apples. I'm not a
no, but
hippie.
I mean the whole thing was that Blake wanted to start an organic farm, and so he was and he had a college degree, but he was choosing to work on a farm for $12 an hour so he could get the experience that he needed to go and start an organic farm.
Right.
And it wasn't this conventional route. It was kind of similar to Marty's circumstances, but I think it was different because Blake was basically saying that there's more to life than how much money is in your bank account, and that he wants his kids one day to be able to look at him and know that he didn't just do what is normal, but did, like...
He wanted to live a good life. I think those are the words he used.
Yeah.
Like, I want to live a life that I'm proud of. And yeah, like, I obviously want to support my family, but if I'm doing soul-sucking work or I'm doing something that's not making a difference in the world or in my community, then it's not worth it.
Yeah.
That's what he was about.
Yeah. I think that's a good reminder,
I mean, yeah, I think every once in a while you need someone to tell you, like, it's okay to have fun at work. Like, work should be and can be fun.
Back without stopping. I have a very dry sense of humor, so I feel like I could be good at this job.
You want to give any colorful commentary?
Ready to go. What's it look like?
But I was scared that you'd see the machinery of me go wrong. 'Cause my heart is in it down, it starts and it stops. It opens and closes just like my garage. And I have so many.
Those are acting faces. A vast range of emotion.
Do you just want to like go to a McDonald's and get you some fries?
It's all I've ever wanted. It's all I've ever wanted. All I ever needed. Yeah.
You were not this goofy whenever I was dating you. I did not realize what I was getting myself into.
Well, I put a ring on it, so tough cookies.
Stuck here.
Yeah. So after we went through New York City and driving the RV through there, which was just crazy in and of itself, I got a job in New Jersey at White Castle. It was my first job in fast food. And I was working at the drive-through counter, and I was like flipping the little things called sliders. They're like tiny hamburgers, you know what they are. Every job that I went and worked, I would interview the people that I worked alongside at that job. And I sat down with Alnisa, who worked at White Castle, who I shadowed for the day. And we sat down, and I interviewed her, and she kind of told me what she did, who she was.
Well, I am a mother of two boys, 9 and 10.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So besides work, I'm busy with them. I'm a single mom, but I do have a boyfriend. We're working towards getting married very soon. So it is challenging. I mean, it's tiring, but at the same time, I love my boys, so anything I have to do, I do it. You know, I don't think twice about it, so, you know, whatever I have to do, I do. You know, if I don't get a break, I don't get a break. It's the joy of being a mother.
And then I would always ask the same question at the end of the interview. I'd say, is there anything else that you want to say? And without a doubt, 100% of the time, everybody would say no. Like, I have nothing else to say. No further questions, Your Honor. But as soon as I got done with Alnisa, she was like, no, like, I do have something else I want to say. So I'm like on the edge of my seat waiting for her to say, and that's...
We had to like turn the cameras back on because
we're so used to
no one saying anything. We turned the cameras back on.
But I did want to mention one thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
You know, like the customer we had earlier, there are a lot of people that come and they downgrade fast food workers. When I was a manager, my mother, she was a secretary for a hospital. I was bringing home just as much as her. So people look at fast food workers and think, oh, well, you guys are not making any money, or you guys are, you know, and they really downplay it sometimes. And, you know, I just don't think that's right, because some of us do have an education. Some of us do want more. You know what I mean? It's not just we're settling for this. Sometimes you have to work your way from the bottom to get to the top. So, you know, I just think people need to keep all of that in mind.
I just remember getting hit with that, like slapped in the face with that, basically, because she's basically just calling out every person who she's interacted with as she's worked at White Castle, and before that she worked at McDonald's, and all the people that have come in there and basically look down on her and place a ton amount of like judgment on her because she works at White Castle, you know. And I know that people don't grow up thinking, I want to work in a fast food restaurant. I know that's not what little kids say, but at the same time, you know, somebody like Alnisa, it's like she is showing up to go to work. And I just think of people that I see in my Facebook feed all the time that say, like, complaining because somebody got their burger wrong and telling them they don't deserve something more. And looking at somebody like Alnisa who just says, like, that's 100% not true. Like, I want to be something greater. And I think she'd been waiting a while to tell somebody that, you know?
And I'm glad that we could be there.
Yeah. But White Castle was cool. We got some burgers, got some White Castle swag, and then we jumped back in Franklin and we started heading south before winter. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. I should have practiced with Lunchable.
I got to work a job with you at Six Flags for your 35th job. We got to be zombies.
She scared somebody just by smiling. She like this. She literally like this. And she scared somebody to death.
And then you worked at Frothy Monkey in Nashville. Got to make some lattes.
Dance around the counter a little bit.
It's like a coffee shop, not Coyote Ugly.
No, I mean, but like we dance, I don't know.
We are broken souls that find ourselves in the unknown. There's a silver lining, so let's be human. We are flesh and blood, our veins are filled with love. We're made in a beautiful image, so let's be human.
We were fired.
Yeah, we were fired. We were let go after 2 hours.
Kept going south down to Florida, worked at a scooter shop. I got to ride in a sidecar.
That was
highlight. Highlight of the trip, riding in a sidecar.
So let's be humans. There is more to life than this. You know I'm so convinced. There's a silver lining. So let's be humans. There are signs and scars that point us back to the core of who we are. We're made in a perfect image. So let's be humans.
And then home to Texas. Blazed through the south to get home for Christmas, and then flew to Hawaii.
We're going stand-up paddleboarding for my 49th job in Hawaii. and I'm pretty excited, you know?
What you can do, we're gonna swing it out like that, right? So you grab the edge, and we're just gonna put it down the same way over there, same way we have it right now, pretty much.
Okay, so it didn't stay.
Right.
It was pretty epic. It was also during whale season, and so we get out there on the water, and there's like whales literally singing underneath the paddleboard.
You can hear that,
Alyssa,
like Finding Nemo.
Alyssa is freaking out. She's just like freaking out, and I'm just thinking that this is the coolest thing I've ever experienced in my entire life. Like, I'm out here like with these tourists, and I'm a tourist too, obviously. But I'm out there with these tourists, like I'm working this job as a paddleboard instructor, and just thinking like, this is the coolest thing ever. And
you thought that was cool. Wait till job 50.
Oh god.
Sorry.
Sorry. So Alaska, I was thinking like, obviously working in Alaska, I would be wanting to work on like a salmon boat, because that's a big deal up in Alaska, taking some of those boats out there.
Or like crabs.
Or crab. Yeah, I was thinking that's more
like the
main.
deadliest catch. That's like a thing.
I thought they catch just regular fish. I've never really seen the show.
I think it's crabs.
Anyway, so I was trying to get a job on a boat for my 50th job, because I thought that would be cool. We're up in Alaska. But I ended up not being able to find one. It's just like they do like 12 to 24-hour shifts, and I would have been down for that. It would have been miserable, but I would have been down for it. And but I just couldn't find the job, and so I ended up getting a job working at a racetrack. There was like a big event coming in, and they were going to do race cars, and we were actually going to be setting up prep for the event. And I remember being kind of like bummed that was gonna be like the 50th job in Alaska. It was just
kind
like
of lackluster, just
like get there and it's just like, yeah, it's not themed with Alaska or anything like that. It's just like,
it wasn't like bear wrestling or like catching fish with your bare hands. It was just,
where would you bear wrestle? I'm not gonna join
that's
the circus.
Alaska. Like when you think of Alaska, that's the last frontier. You can wrestle with bears, do whatever you want.
Okay, well, I wasn't bear wrestling. But I remember just being a little bit bummed, and we were sitting at an RV park, and I put it on Facebook. I was like, I'm searching for my 50th job in Alaska.
You're procrastinating on finding your last job.
And like a friend of a friend knew the chief of climbing for Denali National Park and got in touch with him. And first of all, like, that's the coolest job title in the whole world, chief of climbing. It's something we should all aspire to in life. And he basically was just like, Heath, you know, like, you have to come and do your last job here at Denali up on the mountain. And he called me, and I was freaking out, and basically just said, we're going to fly you up in a helicopter with our park rangers. You're going to be shadowing them for your 50th job, you know, doing all of the typical duties that they do as a park ranger. And I was like, done.
Go, they don't return. But I've come back a time or two, 'cause I don't have a thing to lose. Mama, take me back again, up to Magic Mountain. Mama, take me back again, up to Magic Mountain. There's a roundabout just beyond the cloud. We're rolling out.
You guys can take your bag and start walking towards that big orange tent.
Okay.
The guy's name down there is Corey.
Okay.
Introduce yourself.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we just got off the helicopter. We're here on the top of the glacier at base camp for Mount McKinley. And this has got to be the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. So we're gonna be spending the night up here tonight, and they have to make a couple runs and pick somebody up from 14,000 feet, but we're gonna be hanging out with Corey, the volunteer here at base camp tonight. So he stays up here for a couple months during the summer, and gonna see what they'll have us do tonight. So I just can't even explain how exciting this is crazy. Would have never thought that I would do one of my jobs up on a glacier in a mountain in Alaska. So this is amazing.
Does the pressure just make these things constrict?
40 years old and originally from Montreal, Canada. I think it's safe to say at this point in my life, having a tri-seasonal career, doing 3 different jobs throughout the year in different places, just something that I enjoy every day is super important.
Do you think that most people have a different definition of what it means to have a real job?
Absolutely. Well, the easy answer, of course, is that making a good living, making bucks, is having a real job. But I've met a lot of folks over the years that have come to realize that's certainly not the most important, may not even be up there with a very important part of it at all.
You're not a handsome doctor.
Drop the burger line? What's that? No,
A year ago, we didn't know what was going to happen, if we were going to finish, if we were going to run out of money, or if we were going to be able to make it to all 50 states. And it's been a little over a year since we started, and here we are up on the mountain. And Alyssa and I were talking about it yesterday. We were like, if we wouldn't have quit our jobs, if a year and a half ago, you'd be working at the nonprofit New Orleans in the office, and I would be still doing software sales. And instead, we're up on a glacier at 7,200 feet next to the tallest mountain in the world. And
wow, tallest mountain in the world.
Sorry, always. Sometimes I just ramble and I forget. Let me start that over. That was like one of the only times I messed up in filming in all of 13 months. One of the only times that I said the wrong thing.
We could have a blooper reel that's longer than the actual movie we would make.
It is the tallest mountain in the country, at least, though. So I've got that going for me.
Still not anywhere close to as tall as Everest.
How tall is Everest? Anyway, I think that each one of these jobs and people that we met, like Bryce, who taught us, about overcoming basically adversity in our work and how that can help shape who we are. Like Bryce went and taught kids who were struggling in school because he could relate to them. Like being able to look at situations that happen to us and realize like, in real time, like this sucks right now, but this is going to come back to be an asset for us in the future, in some form or fashion. And getting to talk to Marty, who basically was just this guy that sacrificed, like the conventional route, like I should work in an office versus like I get to work on bikes every day because that's what I love to do. And knowing that if we ever do decide to go that route, like it's gonna be okay, and getting to hang out with Blake up in Vermont and just hear his perspective on enjoying your work and how there's more to life than how much money is in our bank account, and that it's more just about living a good life and what does that mean to you. I think we're still figuring that out, and obviously it has to do with how many donuts you can eat, but
You and those donuts, you're never gonna let it go.
Every time I think of Vermont,
we'll visit Blake.
Freaking apple cider donuts.
Yeah, we can get some.
But yeah, just all the people that we've met in all NISA, I think that anytime I walk into a service industry restaurant, I have to think more about the person who I'm talking to. Because I think like a couple years ago, I could walk into a place and be on my phone and not pay attention. But like getting to talk to her, I feel like in a way, even though she wasn't talking to me, I feel like she was calling out like Americans in general, just like calling them out on their crap, saying like, we get treated poorly, but we're sitting here as part of society trying to contribute to the greater good. Like I'm working, like not looking for a handout. And then just being on the glacier up in Alaska and seeing that kind of work is possible. Like I never thought about being a park ranger, and I don't think that is my calling now or anything like that. But it was wicked cool. And
it was wicked cool.
Just realizing that that's possible, and that I feel like people that are in those positions, who's a park ranger, they grow up and you just look at them as a kid and they're outside and they're just like, you could say like, yeah, that kid could totally be a park ranger. Just the fact that some people actually get to live out what they want to do is really inspiring. And I think if anything I got from Hourly America, it was just that like, it's possible to do work that you enjoy, and no matter what people think of you, you know. And I think if anything, that's cool that we got that out of it, you know, and an awesome honeymoon and a great start to our lives.
Yeah.
And we'll see where that goes from here, you know.
Hi. Okay, so what are we doing today?
Put me to work as one of your grounds crew members.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah. So, thanks for having me for the day. I guess did you talk with John or?
Yeah, he
Okay.
did, but he really didn't run down what
what we're doing?
Yeah.
Okay.
If this is the road that I'm going, will you walk with me?
What?
I don't think anything broke, so that's good. I just dropped a bunch of tile on the floor. It's pretty heavy. I think I busted it. What do you want me to say? We had a job today. I'm tired.
This is what I'm dealing with. Drama queen.
I think it's important to, and I realize this, you know, this is a lifelong stretch for lots of people to know yourself. You know, like I still don't really, you know, I mean, I know myself, but knowing what you want to do and recognizing what, you know, what really, you know, is you're passionate about. And again, I'm sure that sounds pretty contrived, but you know, to just work just for money, I just don't. For me, that's not a healthy way to live your life.
I'm chilling. So we're lunchtime here. We helped them set up, did a couple of interviews this morning. Pretty crazy day. So I'm just gonna enjoy my pizza for now before I get to work. Yummy.
So I'm a little bit sick right now because I'm at my 35th job right now in Maryland, and we got out here a little bit early and rode some roller coasters, and one of them had too many freaking loops, and now I have a headache, and I'm just getting too old for this stuff. I don't know, you know, I'm just almost 24, and I don't know if I can do all the corkscrews anymore. I'm just having trouble coming to grips with that. So anyway, tonight I'm gonna be a zombie.